Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Marco Ibanez. I'm a boudoir photographer based in Washington DC, and today I want to share with you 9 things you can do to improve your boudoir images. I'm going to be using some behind the scenes footage I have from a recent shoot I did, just because I want to share with you the things I do when I'm shooting. And I'm super excited to share this with you because I really believe these things can help you achieve consistency in the way you shoot, consistency in the way you post people, and that consistency is going to help you feel more confident, and that confidence is going to make your clients feel more comfortable, and the more comfortable they are, the better the photos you will get. So let's do it. Okay, so for this one, I find myself constantly asking my clients to tilt their heads to one side or the other because I want to be able to break the line between the straight line between their heads and their bodies. So in this case, for example, I ask her to tilt her head in this direction, and let me show you the resulting image. So this is the resulting image, which to me looks a lot better than the previous one because, you know, her head looks better, her hair looks better, and you know, I can see her neck. And this pose is actually it also delivers a different set of emotions. It's softer and is more vulnerable, and is even submissive in nature. So I like to combine this pose with other poses that are more aggressive, if you will, because I like to offer a variety of options to my clients. Okay, so by the way, who noticed there's a dog here? I normally you know, try to remove things that are distracting, but in this case, you know, I thought the dog was not distracting too much, so I just left it there. But anyway, okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is about framing your client, and for that I normally use elements I find in the places where I shoot. The idea here is to make your client the center of attention by directing the eyes towards her or him, depending who you're shooting. So for example, in this case, I am placing her in between these two curtains, so your eyes will go to where the light is. I am effectively isolating her from her surroundings by using light. Okay, so that is the idea. So let me show you another example of what I'm saying. In this case, I'm using a mirror, and I love to use mirrors to create this effect. But if I don't have any mirrors available, I can also use the edge of a wall or the edge of a door, or sometimes I even use my phone to replicate the same effect. So this is something you should definitely add to your toolbox and use it. Just be careful not to overdo it. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Okay, so for most part of the shoot, I like to capture my client's whole body from head to toes and their surroundings to add context to my images. However, it's also very important to capture details. So for example, while I was taking this shot, I noticed interesting shapes here in her stomach area. So I got closer and took this shot of this detailed shot of her middle section. And it is very important to take these detailed shots because they complement other shots very nicely, like the previous one. And you can use this, for example, when you're selling an album, you can show these two images together and they complement each other very nicely. They also add to the storytelling of the shoot. So I pay attention to things like, for example, tattoos or wedding rings or things I think my client is emotionally attached to. And normally these shots, these detailed shots, sell very well. At least that's my experience. So you should remind yourself to make at least a couple of these during your shoot. Okay, so the next two tips are related to expressing more emotion with your images. I believe that as a boudoir photographer, you have to use both body language and facial expression to your advantage. And the face is where people normally show and display their emotions. So you have to work with that real estate. You have to take advantage of that. You have to work with their eyes and you have to work with their mouth. Okay, so a quick and easy way to display and deliver the right emotions in boudoir photography is to ask your clients to open their mouth just a little. It's a subtle movement, but the results, what she is communicating is totally different. Okay, so for example, and this one here, when I look at this photo, you may be thinking that she's relaxed, maybe she even is sleeping. But if I look at this one, she has her mouth open just a little, and in this one she is awake, right? She is engaged, and it makes you wonder, what is she thinking about? Okay, so that's the idea. Even better if you have her touch their face. Now this touch has to be gentle and delicate, unless you're going for something more aggressive. But either way, touching their face, touching their hair, pulling on a piece of clothing is going to deliver the right emotions, and that's the whole idea behind these things. Okay, so this is more of a technical tip, and it really depends on what you're going for, but more often than not, you want to have both eyes in your frame. So when I have a situation like this going on, I ask my clients to move their head, to point their nose to my lens, and that normally fixes the problem. So this is what the result, and I think this looks better, and people actually like to see most of their faces in their photos anyway. So unless you're aiming to shoot a profile, try to have both eyes in your images. Cool? Okay. Okay, so my next suggestion is related to movement. An image that has movement is going to be more pleasing to the eyes. So you want your images to be more dynamic. In this case, for example, I see a lot of straight lines and right angles, and you shouldn't have this in your images. So an easy way to fix this is to ask your client to stagger her legs. And when you do that, you're going to see you're going to be adding a lot of dynamic to your images, a lot of movement to your images, but you are also making her body look longer, and that's always a good thing. And this works whether they are on their knees or on their backs. Like in this image, you want to replace those boring straight lines with diagonals and triangles, and this will improve your composition and will make your images more appealing. Okay, so there you go. We have all those triangles there, and it looks fantastic. So my next two recommendations are the cornerstones of boudoir photography, I believe, and a lot of you are doing these already. They're basic, but if you're not doing them already, please make sure you put them in practice ASAP. Okay, the first one is arching your back or asking your clients to arch their back. You know, you don't want this straight line here. You want more, you want a curve. So what you need to do is to ask your client to arch their back as much as they can. I tell them all the time, if it hurts, it means you're doing it correctly, okay? Because sometimes it's painful, it's difficult, but it looks great, right? You're enhancing their curves, you're adding movement, and therefore you're making your images more appealing, as we saw in the previous recommendation. Okay, so this is the first one, and the last one is this one. And every time I see an image like this, it makes me cringe, because you don't want this situation going on. Okay, it looks bad. Don't do that. Do this instead. Okay, not this pointed toes, always. Okay, so those are my 9 recommendations, 9 things you can do to improve your boudoir images. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to see my most recent work, you can follow me in Instagram, and this is my handle, Marco Ibanez Photo. And stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much. Bye bye.